People sometimes are comfortable and they're okay being comfortable, but comfort is the biggest dream killer. It'll stall you. You gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You guys know when I talk about vision, I'm not talking about the next 5 years. In 5 years, so many things can happen, right? I'm talking about now. I want to get done now. I want urgency.
Representatives, you have a lot, I call them hidden runners. So they sign and then they disappear, right? So it's like,
I love that. Hit and runners. What do you think you guys will be able to do? Because I know right now you process annually about 127 million.
175.
170, excuse me.
Yeah.
175. 175. Hey guys, and welcome back to Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Alex. Guys, for all of you guys that got us back on the actual charts, I want to say thank you. All right. We're right now, it is June 20th, 2026, and we are placed number 6 in all categories, which is phenomenal. All right. Couldn't do it without you guys. Hey, and also, if someone that you know can benefit from this episode, which is going to be a phenomenal episode, go ahead and share it with them. Okay. And drop us a comment, drop us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Love you guys. All right. So today's guest is going to be Stefanie Power. She comes from Canada, and we're going to be talking about payment processing, credit card processing, merchant services. Guys, you guys know the drill. I've been doing this for the past couple of years. It is a phenomenal industry, but we're going to take a deep dive into Stefanie Power's story, and she's going to tell you how she was able to get into this industry and how she was recently able to close a big whale. We're talking about over 200 accounts in one hit. That's right. You guys heard it right. Tune in right now and listen to Steph. Steph, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Steph, give us a little bit of background on your story. Who are you? Who was Steph before the success? And Steph, just breathe and let's take a chill pill and let's just have a conversation. All right. I want you guys to get to know Steph, because Steph is going to be one of the newest vendors here for one of my portfolio companies, CashSwipe, and she's a phenomenal entrepreneur, leader, mom. I mean, entire list. But tell them who you are.
Thank you for the intro. Well, basically, I'm someone who I started in payment processing. I was maybe 21 years old. Before that, I was always someone who had a few jobs at the same time. I was in bartending. I was always in sales jobs. I tried a lot of things. Real estate agent. I sold doors and windows. First aid kits on the road. A lot of stuff. But then I had an opportunity with a relative of a family. He was running a payment processing company, and we were just basically thrown on the road with very little information, 2 rates, and go. So I was door knocking, and then the calls started coming in about hidden fees, and customers, merchants were not happy necessarily. I didn't have training, so they didn't really help us. There was no support. It was hard, so I left. I went to do other things. I sold car parts. I went back. I had kids in between also. And then I went back to it. I had an opportunity to become a partner in that company that had changed after that. And I remember being in my basement alone and really wondering, how am I going to go get customers? Now it was deeper. I was becoming a partner, and I had to build this thing, right? I didn't know anything about the back end, the underwriting. All I had done was the front end sales. And with time, I had this little intuition, gut feeling that told me to stick around for that one. And I did. I mean, really, it's determination, merchant by merchant. I started learning. I broke my face a couple of times. We started doing, these larger accounts, and, they would block their funds because X, Y, Z reason. And I learned a lot by, doing these larger customers, and like I say, breaking my face, if that's the word. This is how we learn, I guess, the hard way. And with time, at some point in 2021, I started all over. I was involved in another company, a car part manufacturer, that had to go help out there, and I started all over. I left everything I started and rebuilt in 4 years to over 200 merchants.
Wow.
And now we closed this big deal recently. I worked on this for a very long time too. It's really about building relationships, showing up, picking up the phone. It's a beautiful business because it compounds, right?
Right.
It's yeah. So okay.
Okay.
Now
All
we have
right.
to
All right. We'll start
Now we have
there,
to
guys.
cut.
No, that's good.
Is it good? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
We'll start. We'll start there. So, okay, Steph. So I have a lot of questions just based on what you just said. Okay. So let's take it back real quick before we even jump into merchant services. Okay. Let's paint the picture here, guys. Steph was a bartender. Then all of a sudden you decided to jump into the sales industry. Was it because of just the friend, the family member, the associate that you knew? Was that the main reason why you jumped into sales, or did you always want to get into sales?
I left my parents' house at 15 years old with no plans. So for me, school wasn't really for me. I did a couple high schools in a couple of years. So I didn't like school because...
So you were a rebel.
I was a rebel by force because I went through a lot of bullying and I had to rebel, protect myself.
You had a rough childhood.
Yes, it wasn't easy, but I was always someone who was good with people, and I wanted to make money right away. So
Right.
I went into sales, and sales brought me to payment processing. I think if you're a people's person, sales is really about selling you, right? So it's if you're an honest person, integrity, if you stand by your word, I think you could sell anything.
Right.
So everything I tried before, I knew it wasn't right, but payment processing, I had this little voice that really told me to stick around. But then I had to do a cleanup in my life with people that were not necessarily healthy and was draining. And now I just started back on my own. And since then, we've been doing extremely well. And now my mission is to show this to people, bring others behind me. We have a small quality team that I see them as my project. I want them to succeed and show them that with the resilience that I had, the determination, you can really build something, sustainable for the rest of your life. This pays you literally, as we know, on transactional volume. So you do need to nurture and stay there for your customers, but it's not like you're really exchanging your time for your money. You can work from anywhere in the world. And I'm a Sagittarius woman. For any Saggies out there, freedom is a big thing for me.
It's huge.
Yeah, so I think that payment processing can bring you to freedom.
Absolutely. I believe payment processing is... I like to call it a lifestyle career. And the reason why is because if you play it smart and you use leverage and you use systems and you delegate and you are a leader and you build a team just like you've been able to build a team, you could lose it all and build it up again once you know the blueprint, right? And something similar that you shared, you mentioned, back in 2021, I had a rebuild and you were going through all these personal, outside of work issues or whatnot. And let's get deep real quick because this is the level up, okay? And we're here to level up. But it's all about self-help. This is actually the biggest self-help podcast right now in the United States. If you didn't know, now you know.
Wow.
So my question to you is, how important is your environment when you are building?
Environment is everything. It could bring you down or it could bring you forward. So I did it in an environment that was very difficult.
Yeah.
So and with
how were you able to survive? Not only survive but thrive?
Well, I was in survival mode. So that's why I think when we're in survival mode, we move differently, right? It's like there is no other way. I remember it was delusional how it's like I was going to make it. And I went full force.
So paint the picture. I want to hear what delusional means to you, because a lot of people, they're like, dude, I got delusional, dreams every day, and people call me crazy. But let's see how delusional you were back then that you made it happen. What were like, you were barely starting off in payment processing. You were like, dude, I want to make like $20,000 a month. Like, how delusional were you at that time?
Well, I think it goes back to self-belief. And I always, since I was a little girl, my mom used to say that Stefanie, when she has an idea in her head, she doesn't have it in her feet. It sounds better in French, but that's what she used to tell me. And I really, for me, I wanted to make it to 10K a month. That was my first thing. And
this was back when?
This was in 2021 when I, started back all over. I said, okay, we got to make it to 10K.
Okay. And for a lot of people, you're talking about 10K residuals.
Residuals, yeah. It took
That
me
is
a year.
very well. See, guys, this is how you know Stefanie is so humble. She says it took me a year, and she said it like nothing. For a lot of people out there right now, how hard it is for them to make 10K in residuals from real estate. It's insane. It takes a very long time. So we're going to get into the strategy that Stefanie did, but also the mindset, the environment that she had, and the willingness to grow your portfolio to 10K within a year, because it's phenomenal. So in 2021, you told yourself, okay, I got to get to 10K. Why 10K?
I guess it's the first 2-digit number that I wanted to hit. Then once I hit that 10K, I wanted to hit 50. That was my next thing, and we did it.
So let me ask you this, and this is not to put your personal business out there, but I think it will make you a lot more relatable when people listen to this, right? Especially since you're the new CashSwipe, partner in Canada now. I believe I always talk about financial freedom. Okay, what is financial freedom to you?
I'm big on that. Like for me, financial freedom is doing what I want to do when I want to do it without asking anyone for anything.
Yeah.
And I have a thing for building women, especially building their confidence and teaching them that it is possible, And it's very gratifying also when you earn something of your own. Like
right.
There's a fulfillment with it that comes. It's very positive. And financial freedom is, I was never a 9-to-5 person. I hated it. I've had these jobs where I was stuck in the office and all I could think of was, how am I going to get out of here for even 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And so for me, this is financial freedom is you can work from anywhere. I went to Bali last year in July, brought my laptop.
Love that.
Beautiful, forest, and just working from there. You could, as long as you're there for your merchants, you pick up the phone and you have solid people for customer service behind you, sky's really the limit. And it doesn't take much investment either. It takes a lot of determination. That's all and heart,
Absolutely. I agree. Whenever I talk to my mentees, I'll tell them this. I'm like, where do you want to go in credit card processing, payment processing? And they say, well, Paul, I want 100 accounts. And I was like, okay, how fast do you want to get there? And they're like, in 6 months. And I was just like, what is the hardest thing you've ever done in your life? And they're like, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I guess, is investing into this. And I'm like, really? I was like, okay, so if you think investing, taking the first leap is the hardest thing in your life, you're in for a treat. Because payment processing, it is hard. It is hard, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Is it for everybody? No, you need to be driven, or you need to have your back against the wall where it has to work or it has to work, right, Steph?
Yeah.
So financial freedom, I always tell them, hey, do you know what the definition of financial freedom? And to me, financial freedom is if you are able to make the income in residual or passive income with working less or working not at all. Okay, not working at all. That is true financial freedom to me. And the reason why I think like that and the way I articulate it is because back in 2018, when I first started in ATMs, I was in the ATM industry before payment processing. I was like, I want to build $12,000 to $15,000 in residuals. So very similar like yours. I want to get there. So I was able to do it in 18 months. 18 months, I was officially financially free. And I was able to walk away and work less time as a police officer, which then allowed me to work on my passion project, which then my passion project of helping other people ended up being my multi-million-dollar idea. And that's what I tell people. I was just like, get to your number, just like what Steph did. I want to get a 10K. 10K, was that covering all your bills?
No, not really, because I was I was the one taking care of
You
a lot.
got a $1 million producer chuckling right now in the background. She's like, no, it wasn't, but it's so direct. But okay, what was your financial freedom number?
Well, I would say financial freedom. When we say financial freedom, means working less, right? Okay.
Working less, covering the bills. You're not worried about the bills. At that time, I know that you say you were going through all this stuff. So what was the number? You're like, dude, I gotta hit this number. Because this is the type of stuff that people need to hear. You know, what makes a 1%er, because you are a 1%er. You're a 1%er because not only were you able to build residual income to the point where you're able to go ahead and work remotely in Bali, right? Which 99.9% people in this world can't do, but you lost it back in 2021 and then you rebuilt it again. And now you're teaming up with one of the largest fintech platforms that is helping people build businesses across the United States and now Canada. So what was your number?
It's hard for me to answer that question because I've been in survival mode covering so much that wasn't really belonging to me.
Yeah.
So today we're at $50K a month and I'm still like, okay, more.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I need more.
You know, more. So, I mean, I don't know if I really had a number where I was safe because I've been, once again, never really safe in my life because of all of these, hurdles.
So it's always a scarcity mindset that pushes you to keep working and working and working.
Yeah.
Do you think that entrepreneurs need to have that type of mindset in order to go ahead and become a 1%er like you?
I think that definitely, like you said, having your back up against the wall will, drive you to a certain point. I think now I'm at the point where I don't want to live in that survival, fight or flight feeling. I'm here for prosperity and sharing with the world what I built, giving the support to help other people make it, even to 5 or 10 or whoever, what's their number, right? But I don't think living in that mindset is good forever. It's not good for your health. It's not good for, fear will help you until it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for a short time, not a long time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now, I think the goal is releasing anything that drains you in your life. And sometimes you know it, but you're attached, you don't want to do, you're scared to disappoint people and you're always putting yourself last. And I think that it's needed at some point, and so you can bring in what you know is good for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about now your humble beginnings within payment processing, and let's really help out the younger Stephs out there. The younger Stephs that are looking at you, they're listening to you, they're like, wow, she is a TP, a top producer. She's a leader. And I want to be just like her. I want to be able to have that blueprint in my mind so I can build up to $50,000 in residuals a month now. So what would be your number one piece of advice that you would tell a beginner that is looking to become an agent in Canada? What do they need to fix in order to go ahead and be good as a beginner in Canada?
I would say definitely remove the self-doubt, strong self-belief. That is really the main number one thing, I think. Especially women, we are always scared because we always look for safety. Right? It's in our DNA. So I think having the courage is important. Courage, self-belief.
So why specifically do you believe that having doubt will destroy a beginner in payment processing, specifically in Canada?
Well, doubts kill dreams because they stall you. You don't do what you're supposed to do because you're doubting yourself, and then you're just wasting time and wasting time. So I think this is why self-doubt will, will stop you from what you can be. And I've had my self-doubts, don't get me wrong. I've had them. I still have them. You just have to still go. You're afraid. Fear is there. It's always going to be there. You still go.
And what helps you continue to go? I mean, when you have doubt, I mean, everybody goes through doubt, right? I've gone through doubt. A lot of my employees, a lot of my teammates, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family, they go through a lot of doubt still. But what helped you specifically continue to build even when you had those days of doubt?
I've had this question for a while, and I remember this one day where I was running in the rain and everything was falling apart, the marriage, the car part, all of this, and what kept me going always was what pulls me in life is making an impact somewhere down the line. Everybody that knows me, the close people who know me, will say this. Steph always spoke about leaving a mark, impact. My kids, obviously being a leader to them is huge for me. Teaching from example, I think is what pulls me every day. You don't need, like we said, we were talking about this, motivation comes and goes. And you don't need to be pushed, you need to be pulled by something. So I think I was always pulled by this bigger vision, this bigger expansion in my mind. And I also know as a fact, if you don't grow, well, it dies out. So growth for me, self-growth, personal development, I was always reading books, figuring out how to make my body stronger, how to, so this is me. I think we have to push for growth. And people sometimes are comfortable. And they're okay being comfortable, but comfort is the biggest dream killer, and it'll stall you. So you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
No, I believe. I mean, it's true words, Steph. Everything that you're saying. What do you think is the hardest aspect of being a woman in payment processing in 2026? What would you say?
The worst aspect?
No, not the worst aspect, but the hardest aspect.
The hardest aspect of being.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say people will underestimated me a lot.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I think maybe the looks, right? So, yeah, that people think it's easier because you look a certain way, right? You look good. I'll say it like that. Okay, no,
it's okay. It's all right. We love confidence on the level up, so
woman,
it's okay.
So it's easy for you. It's the opposite. A lot of people will underestimate you. They will actually think that you're using that to push you forward. It'll open the door, but once you're in the door, you got to deliver. You got to have a good solution. You got to have the service. So it took a lot of time to build my credibility.
Got it.
And I say, in a man's world too, sometimes people, you got to be able to nail. Are you going to do it, or you're just keeping me around just to whatever, So not
that makes sense.
Wasting time. So I became really good being like, okay, you're wasting my time. Let's move on to the next.
Well, that makes sense. So you're saying like there'd be sometimes customers or potential prospects that because you are a beautiful woman, they'd be willing to talk to you, but then sometimes they would waste your time and not want to go ahead and seal the deal as far as signing up the contracts and the services. So you got good to actually point that out.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. That's phenomenal. I feel like as a male, especially in business, but also in payment processing, that is sort of rather a lot more difficult for me to go into the business because they see me, I'm a little bit taller, tattoos, and they're like, "Who are you? Is this a scam?" And I'm like, "No, man, I'm just here trying to make you more money, And typically it does take follow up, and the key is in the follow up. So let's change the direction now. Let's get a little bit more technical, okay? Because you are the best of the best when it comes to payment processing in Canada. So what would you tell is 3 good beginner tips that someone who is starting, maybe they're starting to build their portfolio to their first 10 accounts, okay? What would be good 3 beginner tips that you could tell them right now that would help them close their next deal?
Absolutely. Well, when I started back all over, I would say, go to your close people, your family, your friends, and the businesses that you already use. So that's how I did it. That's how I got some ball rolling. Definitely picking a niche, because I remember I was going through all of these different industries and there's a lot to learn. So picking 1 or 2 specific niche, following up is, most reps give up after second follow-up.
100%.
Okay, I have customers 3 years later and we're cracking like multi-million-dollar accounts. And that's what it takes. It's not about being pushy. I was never pushy. I'm actually too nice. So, but always just following up and, be confident, be nice, and having really the desire to bring something to the plate to these merchants. Get to know how to read your statements. That's important. I would say always knowledge is power, but then you got to put it into action. I think that's good. And I think everything that you said, low hanging fruit is know the people that you already buy their services or possibly go to your coffee shop, your mechanic, your barber shop. Yeah.
It's something that I always tell my mentees as well. The second thing is being able to follow up. Follow up is key, right? Because if you guys got to think about it like this. If you guys owned a convenience store and Steph or I walked in there, right? Well, if I walked in there, you'd probably be like, get the hell out of my store. If Steph walked in there, be like, all right, Steph, come here. You want a coffee? You want that? No, but in all seriousness, guys, if we walked in there and the first thing I say is like, hey, I can save you a ton of money. Switch to me now. I'm almost like forcing it on you without building that relationship, right? And Steph, correct me if I'm wrong, but people buy from people that they like, right? So you have to form that relationship, guys. At the end of the day, you are considered a consultant. I know that a lot of independent sales organizations, ISOs, okay, they like to call their business partners agents. I like to call my business partners consultants, okay? Because you are consulting. You are consulting your experience. You're consulting your knowledge. And you're going to learn that all from mentors just like Steph right here, okay? And the third one, the statement, okay? So yes, it's very important, especially as a beginner, to go ahead and actually learn how to read a statement, because this is how you're going to be able to dissect your competitors and be able to go ahead and upsell your services, right? Something that's helping us here in the United States, huge, and you know this stuff now that you're a partner, is cash discount. What is the cash discount? Well, we actually articulate it a little bit different than most people do, and we say it's a legal and transparent strategy where we give the option to the consumer to pay with cash or card, okay? But what does this do? What is the major golden nugget here? It helps the business owner. I always tell people, I'm for business owners. They're like, oh, Paul, you're taxing the consumers. You're the problem. I'm like, no, I'm not the problem. The problem I see is that there's a lot of struggling business owners that want to save more money. Let me help you make more money. Let me help you win, right? And that's what it's about, helping other people win. So Steph, what is a big strategy that you're using to go ahead and grow not only your portfolio, but your overall company's portfolio right now in Canada?
I would say that I was recently introduced to this cash discount, and I found out in Canada it's called dual pricing, which I think is a beautiful way to help merchants, and I'm looking forward to using it as well. We have been going really just, when it's payments only, we are looking at the statement. And, my biggest win actually is a big hotel in Vaudreuil and $15K a month.
Nice.
We saved them a month on $1 million processing.
Wow.
So we have like 2-3 big success stories like this. But, it's really looking at the statement and removing the little margin on top where we can remove, we remove, keeping I would say a healthy margin for us as well, in the sense that we have to offer service. It depends what kind of business you are. If you're a restaurant, obviously you need more service than if you're a mechanic shop where the terminal doesn't really move, it stays there. So it's based on that we price our customers. I would say integrations and software development is a thing. We look at the pain points. If you're a retail store, if your online store and your in-store inventory is connected. So things like this, little details, goes a long way. So we use the pain points. At the end, we're problem solvers. So where's the friction coming from, and how can we remove it while reducing your cost?
Right now, how are you and your teams getting your guys' leads? Like, are you guys using traditional methods? Are you guys doing cold calling, door knocking, hitting the pavement?
I've never really, only when I started, I did the door knocking, but so far it's been just word of mouth.
Wow.
Really
Okay.
just word of mouth.
From your clients, from associates?
My clients,
yeah.
people. Obviously, with time, the more you're in an industry, you get to know more people and you build a network. So value comes in building a network. I've been in the automotive, in another business, so I was able to build a network and then, develop in this space, through that network. But it's a lot, we have a lot of automotive, we have reception halls, restaurants, and some hotels. This is really pretty much our niche in retail. So I would say being in events, congress, stuff like that.
Steph, what would you say, okay, is the key? And I'm talking about the absolutely key to going ahead and building a good network like you have. Because it seems like you're good at it.
Yeah. Well, what's the key ingredient? Just be authentic, being real, having real, really wanting to help people. It's not really, money will come as a result. But to really have impact and to stay in the space, representatives, you have a lot, I call them hidden runners. So they sign and then they disappear. Right? So it's like,
I love that. Hit and runners.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. We're gonna start using that over here in the States.
Yeah. So you can't be a hidden runner. You gotta be really there. If you're there for the long run, you have to pick up the phone, be there for your people, and have the desire to impact positively their companies.
Wow. What is the opportunity in Canada? I know the opportunity for us here on CashSwipe, but now that you're going to be running CashSwipe Canada, the opportunity here is that 90% of businesses across the United States are getting charged an average of 3% on traditional processing. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, strictly payments, right? My goal is to share my vision on switching it over where the consumers have the option and we just eliminate it across the board for all businesses. So then more businesses can thrive and we build a bigger network, right? What is, number one, it's a two-part question. Number one, what is the big opportunity in Canada right now that you see, because you're the expert out there? And then number two, what's your vision?
I am really all for it. By giving the option the customer to pay cash, or we call it dual pricing in Canada, I haven't really seen it happen. So I think it's blank. We could just push this solution and do really, really well. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your overall vision besides using this strategy now, but your overall vision for the next, and guys, if you guys have been following me for the past few years, you guys know when I talk about vision, I'm not talking about the next 5 years. In 5 years, so many things can happen, right? I'm talking about now. I want to get done now. I want urgency. So, Steph, what is your primary goal? What are you trying to hit? What is your milestone? What is your next win before 2027?
Well, I had a number in my mind, and for me, I was like, okay, we need 100 agents. That was my goal for Canada, to find a way to get people with us, 100 agents, and build from there. That's really...
What is 100 agents going to do for you and your organization? What do you think you guys will be able to do? Because I know right now you process annually about 127 million.
175.
170, excuse me.
Yeah.
175. 175. But with 100 agents, what do you think you guys will be able to process?
God, we will...
Sky's the limit.
sky's the limit. I mean, we could take a calculator right now, but I mean, and it's not only that. I feel like we're splitting. It's 50-50 with these people.
Yeah.
So we're really helping people getting out of that 9 to 5. This is my goal. I think that our experiences are not just for us, they're to share with the world.
Right.
And my goal is to bring this to Canada in ways that was never done before. And you guys, I mean, we talked 2 years ago when I was in the middle of my chaos.
Right.
And it wasn't the time. And I appreciated that you actually gave me back my money.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's the way it is.
I can't do it, man. I'm like,
She's like, Paul, I got too much things going on.
Yeah.
I can't do this right
Yeah,
now. I was just
yeah.
like, all right, here's your money.
yeah,
Later.
So I saw the kind of guy that he is, and he's, and I came back 2 years later. I said, okay, now I'm ready, and now let's have an impact. Let's just
About to rock.
let's rock and roll.
Good. Okay, so here is my question for you. If you were to pick just one person in your life, it could be anybody, it could be personal, it could be business, but someone that you positively impact their life by either you helping them out, you giving them a job, an opportunity, advice, who is it? And then the second, this two-part question, the second part is, what was the positive impact in their life?
Well, I gotta say, Kathleen, my girl, man, it's 2 years now that we connected, and I've had bad experiences with having friends as employees. And when I saw her, we were at my daughter's dancing class, and I didn't have a minute for myself, so I would just drop the kid, go in my car and meditate, because I had like 30 minutes to just come down from, the craziness of the day. And then I saw her, we started talking, and she worked for Global Payments, which is a competitor, and I saw something in her, and she wasn't well when I met her. And then I waited a couple of months, I said, okay, there's potential there. I really saw it in her. So she's been, kind of a project for me that I said, okay, I'm not giving up on you. We're going to build your confidence. We're going to fix your health. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And today she's got 3 kids. She's come a long way. She's been through a lot. And now she's got about close to 40 merchants.
Amazing.
And she's building herself, and she is a different person. She's not exactly where she wants to be just yet, because handling 3 kids, and there's still limitations with time. But she's on her way, and she's doing great. She handles our customer service also. Clients love her. She's very lovable. She's got amazing potential. But sometimes all it takes is someone believing in you. So I saw something in her that she didn't see in herself, and I'm good at spotting these things. I want to do this exponentially.
Yeah.
But I would say Kathleen is going to be my big success story.
Phenomenal. And shout out to Kathleen. I love success stories. I'm all about that. It's what fulfills me. I mean, before the show, we were talking about what fulfills us, what fills our cups, and ultimately for me, it got to a point where it was just like, dude, like, money is cool, guys. Like, if that's your thing in the very beginning, if you building whatever it is that you're trying to build, but it's not everything, and it has to be a bigger reason why you're doing what you're doing in life. So for me, it's more about just providing so much value for my family, my kids, the people around me. Steph, now you're part of my circle. It's gonna be fire, and we're just gonna dominate now. So, with that being said, what are you excited the most about joining the CashSwipe community now? And if you guys tuning in right now, don't know what CashSwipe is, we started this platform in the FinTech processing industry, guys, 3.5 years ago now. And we have over 2,000 what we would call agents in this platform, which is crazy when you think about it, right? But the reason why we've been able to do it is because I believe we solved a big pain point. Hey, let us help you go ahead and market to your ideal customers. And the second thing, let us help you close the deals, right? It's a win-win. So now that you're going to be part of the organization, we're going to be doing the exact same thing in Canada under your network. what are you most excited about? Are you excited about the impact you're going to make? Are you excited about like leveling up? Because I think you're playing too small right now, Steph. Saying, I only want 100 agents. No, we're going to get you to like 500 by 2027. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay, amazing. Yeah, I guess what my starting point, I saw, I put on my vision board, I said 100 agents. That was before talking to you.
Yeah.
Because I had already started, with my own little, how can I say, with my own little like course and all that. But then when we spoke, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's got it all figured out already. I don't have to build it. I think you guys do solve a big pain point, because what's the hardest thing is the cold outreach and actually getting those first merchants and getting that ball rolling. So I'm super excited about the success stories.
Correct.
I really want to see people win, and that's going to make me feel awesome. And like we said, fulfillment comes from service, and money is a tool, and like we were saying before, it's just going to make you more of what you already are. So I hope that we could have a strong impact on people who are going to want to have an impact on their families and their people, and just create a community and a movement.
Absolutely. And then, Steph, just to wrap this up, this is going to be one of the last questions. Now, here on the Level Up, like I said, this is one of the top podcasts for self-help and for entrepreneurs looking to build something else in their life. My question to you is, what are three? I always go with three. I always go with three. But what are three tips that you would give to a person right now to get rid of self-doubt? Because I know you said the number one dream killer in this industry that you're currently in right now, dominating, is having self-doubt. So based on your experience, what would you tell the younger Steph that's listening right now, that's just like, how can I get rid of self-doubt? I want to get into sales. I want to build residuals. What would you tell them?
I would say, and I've been there, and sometimes I still do, overthinking. The overthinking is, something that you try to get rid of as much as possible. Because, well, we're not our thoughts, right? But then sometimes they could consume us. So I'd say, get out of your head, get into the, get your hands dirty and let's go. Courage. And we have to, in French, we say, foncer. How do you say that in English? You just, you gotta just go.
Got to move ahead.
You gotta move ahead, yeah.
Love it. What do you believe in perfect action? What do you think about that?
I think raw action solves all.
I love that. Guys, that is Stefanie Power. Steph, where can they find you? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. What's your handle?
Stefanie Power, Stefanie with an F. So Stefanie, Power, everywhere.
Okay.
Facebook and stuff.
And then for your processing company, what is the website?
PowerPaymentSolutions.com.
PowerPaymentsSolutions.com, our newest vendor here at CashSwipe, guys. And also, guys, remember, this episode will be out just shortly. So we still have about a couple months before our next live event at Scottsdale, Arizona, with one of my mentors, Andy Elliott, one of the biggest sales trainers in the world. Stefanie Power is going to be one of our newest keynote speakers there, talking about women leadership and all things sales related. So if you're currently a female entrepreneur or a male entrepreneur that is looking to get into payment processing in Canada, this is your opportunity to be now with a 9-figure entrepreneur like Stefanie, who will be able to personally mentor you in Canada. Yes, you're lucky. So with that being said, guys, make sure to check us out. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. This is Paul Alex, and this is The Level Up. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.